Good morning, friends. Today we're going to be talking about working on my brand new large potato raised bed.
bensound.com. bensound.com.
Okay, I'm going to be looking off to my right a lot because I'm going to be watching the slideshow so that I can narrate it to you. I bought this bed on Amazon, and my son will insert a screenshot of it here for you. Okay, and it is the largest raised bed that we have gotten so far. The other beds that we have are very shallow, and I didn't think they could do root crops, and I was looking for something larger, so we got something larger. Alrighty. So my son did all of this work, and it was during a time, I don't know if you know, but recently I had to replace my camera because it overheated and it destroyed all of my videos that were on it and all of my photos and everything that were on it. It was terrible. But at any rate, so part of this time my son was just taking photographs with his camera because I was making up my mind what I was going to do. Okay, so photograph number one, that's just the box it came in. And this is opening it up and what it looks like, because I want to walk you through actually making it and what it looks like so that if you're going to buy one, you know what to expect. So this is the beginning of the instruction sheet, and the bag of nuts and bolts and all that's on the lower right, and the rods that are at the top are the braces that go across the middle of the bed, and you can only see the edges of the corrugated sheet metal that's up at the very top. This is opening it up so that you can see the flat versus the curved panels. And once again, a close-up of the instructions. All right, this is when he starts actually putting it together, and he's putting together two of the flat pieces. Here he's putting together the first of the curved pieces. There it is, just with two of the beginnings of the curves on it, you know. Progress, more progress. All right, this is showing a close-up of where the braces go in the middle of the thing to keep it from bowing in or out, okay? And that's where they connect. Those are put in the middle panels. This picture is of him standing next to it so you can see how tall it is. It's above his knee. It is 2 feet deep. And here's beginning to put the supports in. And here's the whole exterior done with the middle of the supports project. And there the supports are in, but they're not completely tightened up yet. And he gave us an aerial shot. Because my big ladder is right next to it for us to have access to the roof. So we have to go up there all the time because the water here only comes in for an hour a day, and we have a pump and we have 2 storage tanks on top of the house, and then the house is gravity fed from the storage tanks. So the ladder always stays there. Alrighty, so there is the beast completely built. Now, the volume of this is more than I had imagined, actually. I've always gardened in the ground before. I have made raised beds, but I had chickens and I had The last house that I was in that I really gardened extensively was in California. And I rented a chipper shredder because there were huge bushes there that had not been maintained in a very long time. In fact, there was a cement walkway. I thought it was a walkway. And the bushes were so grown from the fence out to this little walkway, you know. So I just thought it was a sidewalk, a path, you know. And as I kept trimming the bushes farther and farther and farther back, I found out it was a huge slab and the bushes had just grown over it. So I took out all of those bushes, and that ended up being where my rose bushes collection went. So I rented a chipper shredder, and I chipped all of that stuff to begin my first compost pile at that property. So I had lots of compost immediately. And then we went to horse stables and offered to take away their horse manure free. So we would layer a bit of that evergreen bush, and then we would layer horse manure, and then we'd layer the evergreen bush and then the horse manure, and throw in some chicken, you know, poop-laden alfalfa in the middle. And that's how we started our compost. So every time I did a raised bed, I just filled up the raised bed with compost and dug it all in, you know. But this, starting completely from scratch, that thing is huge. So we had a lot of things on the property that we wanted to get rid of. There are areas here where cement workers here, they don't really mix cement in wheelbarrows, hardly ever. When I was putting up fences for a living, we always mixed up the cement, we called it mud, for the post holes in a wheelbarrow. But they don't do that. They get sand, and they have one pile of sand and one pile of gravel. And they take some of the sand and they just put it on the ground, and they make a little flat where they mix all of the cement right there in the ground. Well, after they leave, those layers of cement are left all over the place. So the more construction you've had on your house, the more terrible places there are. So to begin filling this big old bad boy up, we decided to put chunks of cement, rocks. We had broken tabique. Tabique is a kind of brick here. It's very spongy, it's very light. It's not spongy as in squishable, but it's spongy as in it's very porous and open. You know, there's a lot of air in it. It's very light. But every time they do any kind of construction here, they're not very good at removing the debris afterwards. So we have a bunch of pieces of tabique and pieces of brick and pieces of cement block and, you know, all of that around. So here's another view of the thing finished, and you can see the side yard to the left. That is our only neighbor, and the fence way back in the back, the gray fence with the white posts going up, that is the end of our property. Now, where the wheelbarrow and the picmatics are, that is one of those areas where it had a cement cap on it from where they were mixing the cement. And here's a picture of him with his fingers after he broke some of it up, with his fingers underneath it showing it. And it's about an inch and a half thick, but obviously that's terrible for anybody who wants to garden. So we wanted to get rid of it. So he broke it up with the picmatics, and there it is in the wheelbarrow. You can see all the flat, you know, pieces of cement that were that area. And the next picture of the wheelbarrow is some of the rocks and some of the tabique that I was talking about, the bricks and the blue cement chunks there. Our front porch used to be held up by cement columns, and they were so horribly destroyed that we were really worried about the patio collapsing. Actually, there were so many just cracks. The rebar was all swelling. It was horrible. So we had those taken out, and we put in the brick columns that are there now. But that blue cement, that's the color of our house, and those were from the old posts that were holding it up. So here is the first photograph of the raised bed with some of the block and, you know, pieces of crud in the bottom of it to take up some of the room. And we also thought that that would allow for drainage. So because it gets some, you know, during the monsoon season here, it rains so much, so often. And we were concerned about a root bed just being too wet and actually rotting them instead of growing them. So we filled up the bottom, probably 3 inches, 4 inches, I'm guessing, with block and cement and rocks. Then this next photograph shows some bushes. We had a stack of bushes that we were hoping would compost down, and the leaves composted down well and everything, but all the little sticks and stuff did not. So these are all the little sticks that are left of the bushes to put some organic material in there. And the next photograph, we also have a large pile of gravel that is left in the backyard from the last construction project that was done. And we scattered some of the gravel on here and a little bit of dirt, and we watered it in a lot so that it would kind of, you know, fill down and fill in those nooks and crannies, you know. Now this photograph, you'll see a lot of shells in here. All of these shells were washed to get the salt off of them, because you really don't want to put salt in your garden. And but shells have a lot of calcium, and they are available, you know, to the plants. So originally he put them in like this, and I'm like, it would be a lot better if they were crushed up. So we took them back out and put them in a homemade mortar and pestle. We used a big 5-gallon paint bucket and put the shells in the bottom, and then took a sledgehammer and used it as the pestle to break them all up into smaller pieces, and so it would be more bioavailable to the plants. And I don't have a picture of it when we were finished, I'm sorry, but I thought I'd let you know. All right, now this is the dirt and gravel over it, and we watered it in a lot for days, so that it would settle well before we started with the potatoes. Now we bought, I think 4 bags of this Vigoro potting soil. It's compost and soil, etc. And the bag, the black kind of square looking bag that's on the left hand side, is coconut husks. That we want to add, because it's good. Now this is weird, but it's good for both retaining and draining water. I don't know how it does both, but when you put it in soil, when you water, it helps to hold on to the water, but if it's really, really wet, it soaks up the water and wicks it away so that it isn't so, you know, moldy and rotting for the plants that are in the soil. And now my son spread 1 bag of the compost all around on the bottom first. And this is a picture of it spread all the way across. Now, these are the potatoes that we used. I bought some russets. I find it very difficult to find russets here in Wasabi. And I like russet potatoes. The potatoes that they have here are very thin-skinned. They do not store well at all. They are much more moist than we're used to. So I bought some russets, and I put them out on this jelly roll pan outside. We scrubbed them very, very well, because there are anti-sprouting chemicals that are sprayed on them, you know, when you buy them in the States now. So we scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed on those to try to get the chemicals off of them. And I put them out in this jelly roll pan on my front porch. And the larger of the brownish potatoes are russets. The smaller of the brownish potatoes are actually red potatoes that I purchased here. And the others, of course, are sweet potatoes. And we put them out there so that they would begin sprouting. Now, with the next bag of soil that we did, this is breaking up some of the coconut husk to show to you. We added coconut husk to the soil. We also added bone meal and blood meal and some mushroom compost to the soil. And this is a close-up of the shredded coconut husk to show you what it looks like and the form it comes in. And there it is, kind of broken up in the wheelbarrow, you know. So he mixed up all of those things and added them in. Okay, now we had a sweet potato growing mainly because the vines are really pretty and so are the purple flowers. We had them inside a pot, a gray pot. And we knew being in a pot like that, it wasn't really going to grow sweet potatoes, but it was a lovely vine, and so were the flowers were lovely too. Well, the vine grew up and over the edge of one of my small raised beds. And it had rooted itself. This photograph is how it rooted itself in the edge of that raised bed. So we pulled that out and then took it on over there, and there on the two-wheeler, you can see the gray pot that the original vine was in, and one of the little purple flowers is there. The bag at the bottom left of the raised bed is the mushroom soil. Okay, so here we're putting in the sweet potatoes, and we just buried the sweet potatoes completely, but we kept the vines above ground. And then as soil was added, we kept lifting up the vines so that they would be buried but not completely, hoping that they would root like they do and produce more sweet potatoes underneath the ground. Okay, so here's where we've got the vines almost, a little bit more buried, and the extra sweet potatoes that are around. And on this photograph, the red potatoes are on the right-hand side and the russets are on the left-hand side. Okay, sweet potatoes again, a little more buried. Now, this is what the bed looks like at this time. You can see there's only a little bit of the vines showing up. There's another view of it. And we just buried the potatoes well. Now, I'm waiting right now. It is the 29th of April. And I'm waiting for my May check to come in. And I'm going to buy more bags of soil. I have onion starts in my refrigerator, chilling right now, so that when they hit the warm soil, they'll go, oh my gosh, it's spring, oh boy. So we're going to fill these in more, and in the new bags of soil, we will plant the onion starts. And shortly after my payday, I'll be making another Nogales haul run. And I'm bringing back some Sweet Alyssum seeds. Now, the reason I'm doing this, planting potatoes, onions, and Sweet Alyssum together creates a highly beneficial symbiotic garden ecosystem, okay? This means that each of the plants, a symbiosis is where they help each other be better than they would be apart, okay? Onions act as a natural sulfur-scented pest repellent for potatoes. The bugs that bother potatoes a lot don't like the smell of the onions, okay? And Sweet Alyssum acts as a ground cover that suppresses weeds, retains soil moisture, and attracts beneficial insects that control the potato damaging pests like aphids, right? So those three planted together are very beneficial for each other. Now, when you're companion planting, not companion, when you're companion planting, you want to think of the different levels where everything grows also. The potatoes are much deeper than the onions are, and the Sweet Alyssum is growing on the top, which does not affect the potatoes or the onion roots at all. This combination of plants promotes a healthier, more balanced ecosystem and reduces the need for not only pesticides but also fertilizers. So The combination of natural pest reduction, efficient space usage, and beneficial insect activity can yield to higher quality, healthier harvests. Now, do know that potatoes are heavy feeders, so they benefit from a lot of organic matter in the soil. That's why we use so much compost. We use mushroom compost. We added bone meal, blood meal. Oh, I also added a combination of micronutrients in the form of minerals, and I sprinkled that in there as well. Now, let's see. Let's go back to here we go. 10 days later, right? Look at those little sprouts coming up. Those are only the red potatoes. We haven't seen the russets yet, but the red potatoes in that photo, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprouts that I see right away. And here's another batch of sprouts from the red potatoes. Here's another batch of sprouts. And here my son circled them in case you had a hard time seeing them. So that's our potato bed, and we'll get the onions in it as soon as I get to the store and buy the additional soil. And then when I come back from Nogales, we'll plant the alyssum, and that Sweet Alyssum. I love Sweet Alyssum. It's got such a nice smell. And I'm buying a seed packet collection of 4 different colors. So I'm excited about that, and I think that's going to draw in a lot of beneficial insects. And ladybugs and lacewings especially love Sweet Alyssum, and both of those eat aphids, which especially love potatoes. So we're trying to bring in the natural predators so that we don't have to use pesticides. So thank you very much for being here. And we'll give you an update later when we've got more than just those little teeny tiny sprouts, when they actually turn into plants, when we do garden updates. And I'll let you know how we did when it's harvest time. So I am so glad that you're here. And please let me know where you're watching from. I really do want to do that project. I keep talking about it, but nobody ever watches all the way to the end, so you probably don't hear about it. I have a large world map, and I want to put push pins in where every location is of the people that watch. And I'm just thinking that after years of doing this, that would be really interesting to see where this goes. And a thumbs up and a subscription would be very helpful. We're a new, very new page, on YouTube. So every little bit helps tremendously. Comment, share with your friends, let people know what we're doing, and have a blessed day. Toodles. One more thing. I just looked up the bed on Amazon, and right now, today is April 29th of 2026, of course. It is on sale. It is 25% off. Now, I have nothing to do with the people that made this. I have nothing to do with Amazon, okay? I'm just letting you know. I paid full price, which was $119.99. And right now, it is on sale for $89.99. So if you like what you're seeing, it might be the time to nab it. Toodles again.